I need you to stop for a moment and really listen to what I'm going to say. It's not just anything, it's not something you can overlook. It's something that has been kept hidden for a long time and now needs to be said. This is for you, and only you. I waited, took a deep breath, swallowed words, and held back feelings. Not for lack of courage, but because sometimes we think the moment will never come. But it has come. I'm here in front of you, and I will no longer hold this back. You need to know how much you mean. You need to understand the impact you have, even when you don't notice it. There's so much in you that you might not even see because you're too busy carrying doubts, insecurities, or trying to be strong. But let me tell you, you are more than you think, more than you imagine. If I stayed silent for so long, it wasn't because it didn't matter. It was because it mattered too much. Now these words need to exist outside of my head, outside of the weight I carried for so long. I need them to reach you, even if they tremble, even if they are imperfect. You deserve to know that you are loved, that you are important, that despite any mistake, failure, or tough moment, you are seen. You are more than the voices in your head say. And even if you don't realize it, you made a difference. I'm here. I'm saying this because it's enough of holding back, enough of thinking that later is the right moment. The moment is now. I don't want you to just hear this. I want you to feel it. Because what I'm saying is not just to fill the silence or to relieve what I carry inside. It's for you, completely. It's to touch something inside you that may have been forgotten, ignored, or even buried. I know that you have had days when you felt small, invisible, moments when it seemed like no one saw the effort you were making, the weight you were carrying, or how much you were trying to be strong. I know this because somehow it shows in you. But even on the days when you think no one noticed, I noticed. I saw. And more than that, I felt it. Do you think no one noticed? I noticed. When you tried to hide your fatigue with a smile, when you held back tears because you thought no one would understand, when you forced yourself to keep going while everything inside you was screaming to stop. I saw that, and every time I saw it, I wanted to do something. I wanted to tell you that it was okay to be human, that there was no problem in showing weakness. But I stayed silent, and that silence weighed on me. Because silence is treacherous, isn't it? It seems like protection at first, but then it becomes a prison. So today, now, I am breaking that. I am breaking it because what you need to hear cannot wait any longer. Have you realized how strong you are? I'm not talking about the strength that everyone sees, the one you show to the world as if it were a shield. I'm talking about the strength you carry inside, even when no one is watching. That strength that appears on the darkest nights, in the loneliest moments when you think no one is by your side. That strength is yours, and it is beautiful. Not perfect, not unshakable, but real. And that's what matters. I'm not saying this to cheer you up or to ease my conscience. I'm saying this because it's the truth, because you deserve to hear it, because you need to believe it. And if at any moment you doubt, I want you to remember this conversation. Remember that someone saw beyond what you show, and that someone cares. I care. Maybe this is hard for you to accept. Maybe, deep down, you have built up this idea that you need to be independent, that you can't rely on anyone. I know what it's like. I know what it means to build walls so high that no one can get in. But these walls, they also trap you. They keep out not only the pain, but also the affection, the love, the support that you deserve. And you deserve it. I want you to hear that again. You deserve it. It doesn't matter what happened in the past. It doesn't matter what you think you did wrong. It doesn't matter how many times you felt insufficient. You deserve to be taken care of, to be loved, to be accepted just the way you are. Even when you don't believe it, even when the voices in your head say otherwise. And I'm not here to convince you of that. I'm here to remind you, because at some point you already knew this. Maybe you've forgotten, maybe life has been too tough, and it's gotten lost along the way. But it's there inside, buried under everything that was said to you, everything you believed, everything that hurt you. And I want you to, for a moment, try to reclaim that. Try to allow yourself to be human. Allow yourself to feel. Allow yourself to believe that you are worthy. Not because I'm saying it, but because you are. Because that is undeniable. You exist, and that's already proof enough that you deserve it. If you are hearing this and feeling a tightness, maybe a resistance, that's normal. The truth has a strange way of being uncomfortable, especially when we're used to hiding from it. But I'm not here to make you comfortable. I'm here to be honest. Because the truth, as much as it hurts, is liberating. And the truth is that you are loved, you are seen, and you matter. I want you to feel these words, not as something that comes from outside, but as something that echoes within, as if it were a spark, igniting something that was already about to fade away. Because deep down, you know how far you've come, how much you've fought, how much you've overcome. You know you deserve more than the limits you have placed on yourself. I know it's not easy. I know there are parts of you that prefer to doubt, that prefer to remain silent because silence seems safe. But what is safe is not always what is good for you, and you need more than that. You need the freedom that comes with the truth. You need to remember who you are beyond everything you thought you should be. And here is the main point. You are not alone. No matter how it seems, no matter how the circumstances scream otherwise, there is someone right now at this moment who sees you, who believes in you, who wants to remind you of everything you've forgotten. And that someone is speaking to you now. I don't know what you will do with this. I can't control how these words will reach you. But what I know is that, as long as I have the chance, I will say this. Because you need to hear it. And because somehow, I know this can make a difference. So, if you've made it this far, if you've listened to every word, I want you to breathe. To look within yourself, even if it's hard, even if it's uncomfortable. Look and see everything you are. Not what others say you are, but what you know, deep down, exists within you. That person deserves love. That person deserves care. That person deserves to be seen. I want you to take a pause now and really let this sink in, because this is not about what you think you should hear. It's not about what you wish were true. It's about what is true. This truth that maybe you have forgotten or that has been hidden behind all the times you put others' needs before your own. From all the times you downplayed your feelings because you thought no one would understand. You know, I understand that you have this tendency to think you need to handle everything on your own. That asking for help is a weakness, or that allowing yourself to be vulnerable is dangerous. But let me ask you something. How long do you think you can carry all this weight without wearing yourself out? How long will you pretend that you don't need anyone, while deep down you just wish to be understood? Because nobody is born to live in emotional isolation. You were not made to hide. And I know admitting this is difficult. I know there is resistance inside you. Maybe you are hearing these words and thinking they do not apply to you, that they are exaggerated, or even that they do not make sense. But listen to me, just for a moment. This resistance, this discomfort you feel, is a reflection of how much you have had to shut yourself off from the world. It is a reflection of how you have been conditioned to believe that things have to be this way, that you always need to be strong, always resilient, always in control. But let me tell you something that maybe you have never heard the way you should have. You do not need to carry this alone. You do not need to be perfect. You do not need to have all the answers. You do not need to feel guilty for needing help or for needing someone to remind you that you are enough exactly as you are. Yes, I know this is not easy to believe, because deep down, there might be a part of you that still feels you are not good enough, that somehow you need to constantly prove your worth, whether to others or to yourself. And I understand that. I understand because everyone has felt that way at some point, but for you maybe, it has become a constant state. An invisible struggle that no one notices, but that you face every day. But now you need to stop. You need to breathe. You need to remember something that life made you forget. You are already enough. It doesn't matter what you still think you need to accomplish, achieve, or fix. You are already worthy of love, respect, care, just as you are. Not because you did something special to deserve it, but simply because you exist, and existing is enough. I know this sounds too simple, almost as if it is too good to be true. But it is true. You don't need to prove anything to anyone, and more importantly, you don't need to prove anything to yourself. Because believe me, who you are is already more than enough. Even with your imperfections, even with your faults, even with your doubts. All of this is part of who you are, and who you are is worth it. Maybe no one has told you this before. Maybe you've spent so much time trying to be strong that the people around you have forgotten that you also need to be cared for, that you also need a moment to just be human. And if that's the case, I want you to know that it's okay, because even if no one has said this before, I'm saying it now. You deserve it. You always have. I know that life has been difficult. I know that at many moments you thought about giving up. I know that you have stayed awake at night, alone with your thoughts, wondering if things would ever get easier. And I know how exhausting that is, how much it hurts. But even so, you continued. Despite everything that was against you, despite all the times you thought you couldn't take it anymore, you are still here, and that matters, more than you can imagine. Because being here means that in some way you still believe. Maybe not in great things, maybe not in a perfect future, but you believe enough to take one more step, to keep trying. And that's strength, a strength that perhaps you don't even recognize, but that is there inside you every day. But I don't want you to think that you have to keep going alone, because you don't have to. The truth is that no one should have to carry everything alone, and I'm saying this because I care, because even though I don't know all the details of your life, I know that you deserve more than just to survive. You deserve to live. You deserve to feel joy. You deserve to feel love. You deserve to feel peace. And I don't want you to wait any longer to believe that. I don't want you to keep postponing the care you deserve, the love you deserve, the life you deserve. Because believe me, you are worthy of all this. Not tomorrow, not when you achieve something or become someone better, but now, exactly as you are. I know these words may seem intense. I know that maybe you are still trying to process all this. And that's okay. You don't need to understand everything all at once. You don't need to accept everything all at once. I just want you to consider for a moment the possibility that what I'm saying is true. Because deep down, I believe you already know. You just need to remember. So please listen one more time. You are important. You matter. Not because I am saying so, but because it is a fact. Your existence, your struggles, your achievements, all of this is important. And you are never alone, even when it seems like it, because right now, in this moment, I am here. I am speaking to you, for you, and I will not stop until you really listen. Now that we have reached this point, I want you to think about everything you have heard. Think about what you felt as these words reached you. This is not about me. It is not about what I wanted to say, but about you, about your story, about your struggles, about everything you carry in silence and that perhaps has started to lighten just by hearing that you are not alone. I want you to allow yourself to take this step. It may be small, but it is a step. Allow yourself to look at yourself with a little more compassion, a little more patience, a little more truth. You do not need to have all the answers right now. No one does. But recognizing that you deserve care, you deserve love, is the beginning of something powerful. A beginning that only you can choose. And since we are being so honest, I'm going to ask you one thing. If this moment meant something to you, if these words touched you in some way, share it with me in the comments. Talk about what you feel, about what you are going through. Do not be afraid to break the silence, because that is where the connection begins. I want to hear from you. I want to know how these words reached you. Also, take the opportunity to leave your like, because this shows me that you are with me, that this message makes sense to you. And if you are not yet subscribed to the channel, do it now. Click on subscribe and activate the bell so you do not miss any messages like this. It is here that we create a space for real conversations, for moments of truth that can transform the way you see yourself and the world around you. The next step is yours. Break the silence, connect with me, and above all, connect with yourself. I am here to remind you whenever you need that you are more than enough. Let's move forward together,